Headlines, traffic, and talk. It's The Drive with Terry Moore on CFAX 1070.
Going to talk a little Canadian football here, more specifically narrowing it right down to what we're going to be talking about here in the studio today, and that is talking about the Rebels. The Rebels Football Club, as a matter of fact, they're recruiting, and they want to get people in for registration Friday, April the 25th. That's a week this coming Friday. 2 weeks today. Registration is going to be at 7 o'clock and 9 at the Langford Legion Auditorium. And then Saturday, they've got some camps going. That's somebody's back, you see. That always happens with football. And they're going to be having a camp over at the Belmont School, as well as a 2 p.m., 5 p.m. camp at Belmont. That'll be on Saturday, April the 26th, and then they'll do a little scrimmage work at Belmont on the Sunday, which is the 27th. And then something that all football players love, that's a barbecue for the players and the coaches right after that game. So we'll talk about that. In the studio with me to talk more about it is Andrew Axhorn. Mr. Axhorn is new here to this area. He's played in Alberta, coached in Alberta as well, but also one of the players with the Rebels. Griffin Dear is joining us as well, and Griffin plays a defensive back. Let's talk a little bit about this whole question of the Canadian Junior Football Leagues and looking at what we're dealing with here. We talk about the CFL, we talk about the NFL, we're sitting right here on the border right down by the Seahawks and all. We talk about trying to get people involved in football, both right across Canada, but here in the Greater Victoria area. Some people say that this is not a football city and this is a tough sell in this town. Let's get to the head coach and talk about this with Andrew Axhorn. What's your take on this and what you were told about coming into Victoria?
Well, actually, I didn't know too much about football in BC. I knew there was.
Yeah.
But then I actually knew a friend of mine who I've been mentoring through touch football. He went to Mount Doug, and that's when I found out that Mount Doug is like a football factory for players.
No kidding. There's some good kids come out of there. Yeah.
And so that's where I kind of found out about that they had actually good football in Victoria, and I was like, oh, that's really good. And then I just randomly, I didn't even know about the Rebels till about maybe 4 months ago.
Yeah.
I didn't even know they existed,
to
be honest. And I met some players. I recruited them out for a touch football team that I was coaching. And so I recruited these players out, and then they were all just like, hey, you should come coach for our team. And I was just like, wow, that sounds like a...
So how many coaches have you got on the Rebels now? There's you and who else?
There's a co-head coach, Tom Fong. He's also the defensive coordinator at Mount Doug.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
So me and him are the co-head coaches. Just because we have such busy schedules, that's why we kind of split the co-head coaching down the center. We have a couple lineman coaches. We're still really actually searching for an offensive coordinator.
Right.
Is kind of our biggest need in the coaching staff, and that's really about it.
So at your level now, we're talking 16 to 18-year-old players here, right? Basically, or what?
No,
what's the age?
We're to 18 to 20.
18 to 22.
18 to 22? Okay, how old are you, Griffin?
I'm 21.
You're 21 now. So you're 22, that's the end of it. How long have you played for the Rebels?
This will be my second year.
Okay, and what system did you come out of?
I played high school in Calgary, and then straight out of high school, I went and played CIS at Bishop's University.
Yep.
And I was there for a year, and then I decided to come back and try and get in the junior system.
Yeah.
Just for more playing time, more opportunities. And then I actually came out to Victoria, and there were friends of mine from Bishop's.
Yeah.
Who were playing for the team at the time, and they told me just to come out and play. And
who did you play for in Calgary? What high school?
Rundle Cobras.
Okay, so and Western was in that league as well, right?
No, we're a lower tier.
Lower tier.
At the time, we were tier 4. Western, I think, was tier 1 or 2.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
And we were tier 4. We went
some
undefeated.
good ball players came out of Western over the years.
Yeah.
Including the Governor General, Normie Kwong. Did you know that?
No, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Terry worked in Calgary for a long time.
I can tell you. I know all those guys. I know all those guys. Yeah. So anyway, Normie Kwong was like one of the Edmonton Eskimos at one point.
I'm from Edmonton.
So you know the story. Yeah. On all those guys. There's more politicians came out of the Edmonton Eskimos that ran that province.
Single season Canadian rushing record, I think.
Something like that. Yeah, something like that. I mean, it was unbelievable. There's all kinds of stuff like that.
It may have been 45 or 50 years ago, though.
Yeah, it was a while ago.
Yeah.
No, man, for me it was just yesterday. Come on, get up there. So we look at the development though of football in Alberta compared to what you're going to find here in the island. What did people tell you about it?
You know, I'll be honest. The development out here was way ahead of when I was playing ball. Like when I was a kid, I played bantam football when I was 14.
Yeah.
There was nothing below that. And out here, you can start playing football at like 10, 11. I was just like...
Plus, you can play it all year round. You don't worry about 15-foot snowdrifts.
Yeah, that's right. Like,
sure.
the touch league that I play, and we do 2 seasons a year.
Yeah.
Like, we play like 40 games.
Now, didn't I tell you guys a while back I wanted to get back into touch football? Now, what age level are you recruiting at for touch football?
Victoria Touch Football League. If you can play football, you can play.
Man,
Is that 7-on-7?
Fantastic.
Yeah, 7-on-7.
Good.
Because
Good
the
ball.
7-on-7 is really
It's good stuff.
really popular in the States too, which
Very
is really
big. Yeah.
it's the proliferation of passing.
I can still I can still throw. I can't run as fast, but if I can stand there and throw just as long as what's the protection? Is it
zero protection? You get a rusher that comes at
That's
you.
it?
Free
Right
rush.
away?
Yeah, free
no
rush.
Steamboat 1, Steamboat 2, Steamboat 3?
He gets a 5-yard run at you.
That's it. He gets a 5-yard run.
Yeah, you get about, and these quarterbacks are standing out at about 15 yards back from the snap.
You know what you do? The first thing, on the first down, you hit him right in the head with the ball, and he never comes at you again. That's what you do.
That's longest yard right there.
So anyway,
we call it crafty.
So we go from there. So you're recruiting now. What are you looking for, and where do you want to bring these players in from?
We're just recruiting island based, really.
Okay.
We're not really doing out of province recruiting. We want to try to. A lot of people are saying we'll be committing suicide. I don't think so. I think that there's a lot of talent to be found here in Victoria.
Yeah.
And you know, we also want to make people aware though that if you want to go to University of Victoria, you can still play football.
Yeah.
Like that's exactly what Griff's doing.
You're doing that, Griff?
I'm majoring in economics.
Yeah.
And I'm doing that
you
as
still
well
want to
as
play
football.
ball.
This is an important league for guys your age, right? For people that maybe didn't go on to one of the bigger universities that does football. So you're able to stay in a nice city like this, still get an education, but keep yourself active and fit. And some pretty good players come out of the football league, the BC Football Conference, right?
There's a lot of recruiting from CIS.
Mm-hmm.
And so CIS teams, they like to look at junior because obviously the guys are bigger. And like coming out of high school, nobody's really ready for CIS football. I mean, you're playing against men.
Mm-hmm.
Like you got to be 200 pounds playing receiver.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. A good friend of mine, his brother did this route. He did junior football, just enough to bulk up a little bit. He was tall, a little bit skinnier, but bulked up real nice, and he's now playing down in the States. And he just needed those couple of years to get good enough to get to the next level. And so
exactly.
I've known players who've come out of junior football that have, they've gone on to actually getting tryouts. We actually have one of our players right now, Chris Pastro. He was the captain from last year. He actually has a tryout with the BC Lions. It's a route that you can take that even if you don't get into a university, if you are a good enough caliber player in this league, you can get your shot at the pros still.
Absolutely.
It's a lot of people discount it, and I'm not sure why, because it's a great developmental program.
Just point at Andrew Harris. I mean, the guy is kingpin with the BC Lions right now, and he's a product of your guys' football system.
Exactly. There's actually a few Rebels that were the BC Lions that. I mean, they're out there, and it's so to discount playing Rebels football, it kind of doesn't make sense.
When we come back after we take our news headline break here and our sports break and weather, let's pick up on the things that you're looking for and the kind of caliber player that you're trying to get as many good people as you possibly can, but more specifically where you're going to draw them from and the qualifications you want for somebody that's coming down and what you have to go through when you first come in and you get into the first camp. Can we do that?
Yeah, we sure can.
All right, we'll return and we'll continue our conversation with Andrew Axhorn and also Griffin Dear, a player with the Rebels. Back with you after this. All right, John Spur, it's all yours.
Thanks, Terry. Former Finance Minister Jim Flaherty, whose sudden death yesterday has left many in shock, will get an unusual honor. He'll receive a state funeral. It'll be held next Wednesday in Toronto. An Atlantic City casino hopes to hit the jackpot in a suit against a big-time gambler. The suit claims that he won almost $10 million in a card cheating scheme. The Borgata filed a federal lawsuit against Philip Ivey Jr., who calls himself the greatest gambler of all time. Australian Prime Minister Tony Abbott says that he's very confident underwater signals search crews have picked up are from the Malaysian Airlines Flight 370 Abbott's in China, where he briefed President Xi Jinping on the search effort. CFAX weather currently sitting at 14 degrees, nice and sunny right now. Tonight, a few clouds rolling in, dropping to a low of about 4, and then tomorrow, a mix of sun and cloud with a high of 16 degrees. Find out more at CFAX1070.com.
Email talk@CFAX1070.com. The Drive with Terry Moore on CFAX 1070. Scott Rintoul.
Dan Murphy talks about the final 2 games on the Canucks schedule. Bruce Arthur joins us from the center of the universe, and Jason DeVos will tell us everything we need to know about the Whitecaps and the LA Galaxy this weekend.
Rintoul at 9. CFAX 1070.
Train West Management and Consulting, the official sales training firm of the Vancouver Canucks. Call us at 250-382-1272 or log on to our website at trainwest.ca.
Jimmy, have you ever heard the expression, sell the sizzle, not the steak?
Well,
You see, I'm a no-frills kind of guy. It's all about the steak. That's why I invest with Great Pacific Mortgage.
Mortgage investments are about as exciting as a baked potato, but they're secure and consistent, with historical returns of 7% to investors, quarter after quarter, no matter what the economy's doing.
Doesn't that make you appreciate the steak, Jimmy?
I'm hungry. Call Great Pacific Mortgage and Investments. After all, it's your money.
Is your overactive bladder a problem? Do you have to go to the bathroom often? If you've tried oral medications with limited success, you may want to consider taking part in a medical research study. Study participants will be provided medical evaluations, laboratory tests, and study medications at no cost. Compensation for time and travel may also be provided. See if you qualify. Contact Janice at Prometheus Urology Research at 250-634-0483. That's 634-0483.
He's one of Canada's most iconic musicians. He's won multiple country music awards, and he's coming to the Mary Winspear Centre in Sydney. On Saturday, April 26th, catch Jimmy Rankin live in the intimate Charlie White Theatre.
I got a cool car, giving it up, letting it go.
Jimmy is touring Canada in support of his new solo album, Backroad Paradise. Don't miss this opportunity to see a national idol. Get your tickets to Jimmy Rankin at marywinspear.ca or call 656-0275.
The 2014 BC SPCA Lottery for the Animals is bigger and better than ever, with $100,000 in cash prizes to be won, including a $10,000 grand prize. With daily cash prizes throughout June, you have more chances than ever to be a winner. Tickets start at only $25 and are on sale now at spca.bc.ca/lottery. The ticket deadline for the $7,500 early bird prize is April 27th, so act now. Get your tickets today at spca.bc.ca/lottery. 19 plus to play, know your limit, play within it.
This is Score Golf Radio with Bob Weeks.
For more than half a century, a tree stood on the 17th hole at Augusta National. It stood as perhaps the best-known tree in golf. It was situated on the left side of the fairway, turning a rather easy tee shot into one that had to avoid the branches by either going over them or around them. If you played in the Masters, chances are you had a ball swallowed by this tree. But it wasn't just the pros who were troubled. In the 1950s, President Dwight D. Eisenhower, a member at Augusta National, was so frustrated at hitting it into the tree that he stood up at a club meeting and asked that it be removed. Clifford Roberts, the club's chairman at the time, ruled him out of order and then ended the meeting. The tree not only stayed, but from that point on it became known as the Eisenhower tree. But what a president couldn't do, Mother Nature did. This February, a rare ice storm hit the Augusta area, and it caused so much damage to the tree that it had to be removed. It was a sad end to a landmark, but one that many golfers were happy to see go. I'm Bob Weeks, and you can read my blog from the Masters at scoregolf.com.
Talking you through your commute. It's The Drive with Terry Moore on CFAX 1070.
We're having some great fun here with the guys from the Rebels. We're talking a little football here. So we're talking with Andrew Axhorn, one of the new coaches with the Rebels. Been here for about 4 months now. He's been coaching some touch football leagues as well, and also one of the players, Griffin Dear, who's also a University of Victoria student, and he's keeping up with ball. You played at Bishop though, did you?
Yes, I did, for 1 year.
For 1 year. Tell me how Bishop is compared to what you're playing at the Rebels.
Well, CIS is a big step up from
step.
here, and it's
big recruitments too.
Yeah, a lot of recruiting, and even practice. It's we still watch film every single day for 2 hours before practice,
right?
Which is something I guess thankfully we don't have to do here. And we thankfully our practices don't get recorded.
what
We
I
have
hear.
to watch.
So,
That's only because I haven't got the film tape yet.
yeah, well, it's kind of a come down if you have to use your phone to film everything else that's going on, you know. But anyway, so let's talk about the kind of recruiting that Andrew, that you're going to have to get involved in here, because you got recruiting coming up here on the 25th. What are you looking for? I mean, you're looking for any player that's got the talent that can play the club, but specifically, what do these kids have to do?
Well, me specifically, I've been a great coaching in fundamentals.
Yeah,
I can honestly take anyone with just a bit of talent and actually give them the tools they need to succeed. We have a lot of players actually that have been coming out to our practices now that have very, very little experience with football or zero experience with football, and it's I have no drawbacks at all of helping these guys out or have the ability to help them out. Actually, I was just in a coaching conference for the BCF and like all the coaches for BC, and it was actually really, really informative, and I learned some great things down there, and it just amazes me that as much as you think as a coach, there's always stuff that you can just be like, wow, it blows your mind just how much information is out there to help players and help young people.
What's cost like to go play football?
Well, our camp this year is, I think it's $75 for registration for the weekend camp. Since we're recruiting just on the island though, but anybody's allowed to attend. Because what we're going to try to do as well is we're going to set up a billet system for anyone who's not from around here, and we'll try to set them up with a player or a coach and get them housed so they can be here for the camp and be here this weekend to see if it's a place. Because maybe there's a guy from like Vancouver who's like, I really want to go to UVic, but I want to still play football, and so come here and we set him up with a place to stay for the weekend and come to the camp and he can check it out, right? And maybe that player shows him around. So we really want to, and that's one of the things I think that the Rebels hadn't really done in the past is really get out there to the community. And
it's almost a secondary recruiting system where you can bring the guy in and show him what the city's like, what the team, the atmosphere is like, without having to pitch to him on paper or in pictures.
Yeah, I hate pictures. I hate paper. I hate really setting up the PowerPoint and be like, okay, guys, this is the plan. No, I'm an actor, so I just like to do it. It's one of the reasons I'm co-head coaching is because I'm actually in Macbeth this summer. And
you're doing a little Shakespeare.
Yeah, right? we do it down at Clover Point, Shakespeare by the Sea, and so it's it actually runs into the season. So I was like, and I told them right up, I'm like, I want to commit. I want to be the head coach because I want to help these kids out.
But
I have a pre-equipped
yes, you do. You got
commitment, and I'm not going to back out on them. It would be like me halfway through the season going, "See you guys, I'm out."
No, and I understand that. John, go ahead.
Andrew, so every football team takes on the personality of its coach, but also a playing style. So what's playing style? Defense, run the ball, passing game, West Coast offense. What are you going to run here?
Me?
He's going to run the Forest of Dunstanane. That's what he's going to do.
I'm an attack kind of person, but I really, really like to set everything up with the run. I'm in your face running style too. Like no hesitation, none of this sit back. We're attacking, and then so it's one of my biggest challenges right now is to find a good athletic quarterback to complement my what I want to do with the offense. And that's really I won't have an idea because since I don't have a starting quarterback right now, I can't really develop an offense.
Well, listen, I would come and start for you, but you haven't got the budget. So, yeah. But the point is, though, can you recruit from places like Mount Doug and other schools?
Yes, actually, it was. I actually got to that coaching conference I went to. I actually spent the whole weekend, not the whole weekend, but I was talking with Mark Townsend, who he's
big football man in the city.
Yeah, and I just spent a lot of time, and I was just be like, hey, how come the Rebels haven't been going to Mount Doug? And so he actually was like, no, he's like, you know what? Why don't you guys come down to the school? I'll set you up with a meeting with the players. So actually, that is in the works. That we're the Rebels. We're going to go down to Mount Doug and actually sit down with these players.
I want to put Griffin on the spot as a member of the team. Let's hear your recruiting pitch. Why should people come play Rebels football? Let's hear it.
I believe we have a good group of returning players, and we're a real tight-knit group. And we do work hard. And, like, we didn't have a great season last year, but we are one of the teams in this league that is actually on the upswing, as opposed to other teams like Nanaimo, which just lost their head coach, or Langley, which is having issues with players. Mm-hmm. Those teams are on the way down. And next year we have one of the easiest schedules in the league.
Really benefits us, actually, that schedule.
Yeah. So you're saying get in on the ground floor for the upswing.
Exactly, yeah.
I like it. So have you ever spent the summer in Victoria?
Yeah.
Listen, before he starts wielding his sword in Shakespeare, let me ask you: Have you seen Griffin work out?
I've seen him on the field.
Okay.
He works hard. He's definitely one of the more talented players out there running around with these guys. Okay. And it just shows, but he's not one of those players that's just gonna do. He's always willing to help
and get out
and
there.
show the other players who aren't quite as good.
Yeah.
And so that's why I was like, Griffin, I want you to come with me today. And because I know what kind of player he is.
I want a player comparison from Griffin then. Some pro player can be CFL, NFL, whatever.
Doesn't matter.
I know that he mentioned you might play receiver, you might play defensive back, might play both. Are you Deion Sanders? Are we looking at Deion Sanders here? Is it Des Bryant? Or are you?
Oh, for myself?
Yeah.
I'm more of a speed guy.
Yeah.
Are you?
Speed. I look at guys like Deshaun Jackson.
There you go.
Yeah, there you go.
Or on defense, there's a guy named Dominique Rogers-Camardi.
Oh yeah.
Defensive back. He's
he's kind of skinny like him too. Like he's not Charles Tillman here.
Listen, when these guys come down to register for this camp, they got to come in shape.
Yeah, we're gonna run a 2-day practice on Saturday.
What are the initial trials you're going to put them through to see whether they're even capable?
The first practice we're gonna run will obviously just be a high tempo practice, and basically, like we had a practice on Thursday where there was a guy, he was puking the whole time. Like it was, he was
a tough game.
He was not ready for how high impact we start out the practices. And it's high tempo. Like that first practice on Saturday it's
really tough.
It's going to take the toll on them, and like a lot of these guys, I'm going to guess after that practice, they're going to be like, "Can I go have a nap?"
Okay, yeah, all right. And we're just about out of time. But before we let you guys go, tell our listener where they can get down for the registration.
The easiest way to register for the camp would be on the website at westshore.rebels.ca, or is it West Shore?
Is it West Shore Rebels?
I think it is.
Yeah, there's actually two different. You can get there. I think it's westshore-rebels-football.com and then westshore-rebels.ca.
All right, thank you for coming in, gentlemen. Good luck in the season. Andrew Axhorn, coach of the Rebels, and also Griffin Dear. The winners of the 42 DVDs. Sue, congratulations, and Pete, congratulations to you. That is it for us. My thanks to TJ.